Control District Board, item 8 and 9. Move the items.
Mr. Chairman, to divide the question.
Okay, certainly. I withdraw my previous motion and move item number 8.
Second.
Motion and a second. Supervisor Miller, was that the one you wanted to talk about?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I reviewed this one, and we originally, back in 2017, approved a $5 million contract with 4 amendments for $5 million each. And if you read through the procurement director's memorandum, she talks about how she approved $5 million in Amendment 1 in 2018 and Amendment 2 in 2019 for $5 million, and then speaks about another amendment April 2020 for $5 million. And then today we're approving the 4th amendment, which is $10 million. So there are a couple issues I have with this one. Number one is that the total not to exceed on it is now $30 million, if I add those up correctly. And there's also no more renewals on this because the documentation says there's 2 more renewals. So this was originally the contract plus 4 renewals, and when I reviewed this, it appears they're all used up. So I wanted to clarify that we're now up to $30 million on this, including the $10 million that we're approving today. And also, I'd like to know why the procurement director is approving $5 million amendments. Shouldn't those be coming back before the board?
Ms. Zuckerberg?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, this particular contract, and again, I think the answer to the first question is it's the way the contract was written that allowed the procurement director to authorize an increase, and I believe it's important to remember that these are flood control district contracts that have been in place since 2017, and the previous funding has been spent to primarily secure the flood capacity of the major river system. What this amendment does is give the flexibility to respond rapidly if there happens to be any major flood events as a result of the increased susceptibility due to the Bighorn fire. I think it's also important to note that this is a job order contractor concept, and so you have a whole series of contractors who are all qualified and been through a qualification process to perform this type of work. Once a project is identified, the flood control district delineates the scope of the project, and then it's bid against all of the eligible contractors, and then the low bid is what's actually awarded.
Supervisor Miller?
Mr. Chairman, the concern I'm having here is that, number one, it says we have, and I have no issues, obviously we're going to have to respond to flood issues with the Bighorn fire, but that we have documentation that states that we have 2 more renewals on this when in fact we don't. And also it says the not to exceed is $25 million, and according to what we've approved so far, it's now at $30 million. So I wanted to make that clear, and approving amendments of $5 million, as far as I understand, does not fall within the jurisdiction of the procurement director, or it shouldn't, for sure. That should come back before the board because her authorization, I believe, is $250,000. The last that I looked at the policy. So that really concerns me. I hope it concerns other board members. And I do understand this is an ongoing contract, but I think we need to ensure that those come back before the board. That's $5 million. That's a lot of money.
Ms. Zuckerberg?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, what we can do is research the issue about whether or not there are any more amendments, and we also will research the issue of the procurement director's authority and provide that written information to the board. I think the most important concept here is to get the expenditure authority to contract with these contractors who are all qualified under the job order process so that we can accurately and rapidly respond to flood conditions that may arise. Obviously, it hasn't rained much in Pima County, but you never know. It could very quickly. And if it happens to be centered over the Bighorn Fire area, we will need this capacity to respond.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to, for the record, just identify the document. It is a July 13th, 2020 memorandum from Mary Jo Furphy, and it's the second paragraph where she discusses what has been approved to date. And then it is the third paragraph, the last sentence, where it says this agreement has 2 remaining annual renewals. So it is that document, her document, to the chair and the board. Thank you.
Thanks, Supervisor Miller. Anyone else? Hearing none, there's a motion on the floor to approve item number 8. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Ayes have it.